Sul, hello, and Labis. Welcome to another episode of the Payne Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year is 1348. It is the first day of the year, but it's already pretty far into the year, the first day, because I did update finally and then updated a bunch of my mods. And as you can see, there are some issues, obviously. A lot of the homes have been pretty much messed up when I've gotten to them, so I've had to do a lot of fixing of things and testing things out. There's like fences where there shouldn't be, doors that are missing, walls that are just not painted, etc., etc. And then, of course, there are occasionally some better exceptions, although I have noticed that it tends to be at the houses where a baby was taken away after it failed its roll. And so we'll see if that's what this one is as well. Oh, that's right. So these houses are kind of a wreck right now because a lot of the build buy stuff was taken, like everything was gone. It's all gonna have to be sort of like redone, but because like I said, I'm on this big trip, I don't have time to fix all of the houses now, so we're just gonna see that as we go. Also, today is Elizabeth Brewer's birthday, so we're about to do her birthday. It's an elder roll, if you can believe it, Elizabeth. Oh yeah, she's already bubbling. We almost missed it. Alrighty, Elizabeth. Go, girlfriend, go! Everyone's rooting for you. Elder birthday. Another thing that we'll have to look out for today. Oh, Elizabeth. Is that a lot of the Sims are probably going to be missing some outfits. I don't know who all is missing an outfit. I just know some people are, so... Oh dear. Oh dear. Now you'll notice probably that Aiken and Alexander are here together. So things are tense at the Brewer household because Aiken and Alexander have both moved into the same tavern. Essentially, Alexander is pointing at his living son and saying, look, I have a living son. You don't have any sons, so the tavern should go to me. Remember, they've had this beef for a while where they both wanted it, but Aiken is saying, listen, we can still have more children. Just because we haven't had any for a couple of years doesn't mean that we can't, even though we all know that they can't. And so things are pretty tense here right now, but Elizabeth doesn't really want to get involved because while she is their mom in all the ways that matter, the tavern was Aiken II's, her husband's. It wasn't hers, and she knows that his wish was that it would follow the line of lineage like most families did at this time. And so she doesn't want to say anything to sway the situation one way or another, but things are getting a little bit tense here with these two families fighting about who should get to own the tavern, basically. Elizabeth's hair's gone pretty interesting, hasn't it? I'm going to go ahead and do her roll and just see how she's going to go. I've been really struggling with this elder roll, to be honest. That mathematical symbol, it just always confuses me. I know that it means less than 9, but does that mean that they're meant to roll a number less than 9 to live, or is a number less than 9 fatal? I can't figure it out. So for me, I'm going to say that 9 and above means that they get to live because people did actually live to older age. You know, it was young age that was really the most dangerous. So that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, Elizabeth, just 9 and above. That's all you have to roll. Come on, 9. She did it. So congratulations to Elizabeth. She made it. She made it. Yay. Now, some of the Sims' eyes also look differently. I changed some of the eye presets, but oh, Gita, we're really close to your hair. But I'm not sure how I feel about them right now. So yeah, today we don't have so many Sims households to go to. Oh, he's thinking about Arthur. I wonder if he's thinking, because Aiken is, if I'm not mistaken, he's mean, yeah. And so I wonder if he's thinking, oh, I'm worried now. Oh, don't yell at your, oh no. Because he and his brother just got into it about, oh my gosh, she's yelling back. Because he and his brother just got into it about who would inherit the tavern based off of their children and stuff. I wonder if he just blamed his wife for their fertility issues. So rough. But this is where they're going to all be staying for now. Arden is over at the Fitzroys, sort of like helping them out. She's always wanted to have that kind of a role. But we were only doing a flyby here. Most of today we're going to spend with the Paynes. Oh, Conrad and Gita have a supportive family dynamic. That's so cute. So yeah, we'll leave these guys here and we'll go see the main Paynes. It is finally time for harvest so long as everything has come in. I did check their house first, so it should be okay. Oh man, there's some visual glitches over there, but I don't know what from, so I don't know how to fix it. A lot of townies are in the wrong outfits too. Oh, hey Arthur. We'll see him soon. But I'll see you when we get to the main Paynes. Okie dokie, so here we are at the main Paynes, finally, and it is finally harvest day, which is so exciting. I just checked the plants that looks like they're all fine. So last episode ended pretty tragically. I'm not doing the Black Plague rolls until the last possible moment so that I don't know when I'm visiting a family what their future holds and can't accidentally spoil it through tone. But when I saw the rolls come up, it was absolutely the worst. Alice's whole line basically rolled badly, as you saw, and I can't help it. It's almost like when the whole family struggles like that, I end up pleading, which you'll have to let me know your thoughts about. I did leave a comment on the last video asking people to comment about if they thought pleading was fair or not, especially since we're going to save 2 Sims, and I'm going to try not to, but the rolls we have today are pretty intense. So the sim who was returned to us was in fact Gideon II, if you can believe it. However, I did misread the rules for Vampire Boy and got him when he should have been totally fine. So I believe, based off of what I've seen so far, which isn't much, it seems like Vampire Boy is coming back, but he's not back yet. I did check and the live-in shop seems to still be working, so we'll go ahead and open that today. But everybody is so sad because we lost Alice. It is really sad, you know. I can't believe it. I mean, I can, I just don't want to. Everyone's depressed and I understand. Oh, good job, buddy. I forgot he leveled everything up. So yeah, by the time that I record the next one after this, I'll have gone ahead and made sure to fix everyone's outfits, fixed all of the buildings, made sure everything's going pretty okay. But for now, it's just gonna be what it is, you know? Just gonna be what it is. So we've gone ahead and started harvesting. Oh, another thing about the families is because when I updated mods, I ended up getting rid of mods that I thought might have had a problem and also updating other ones. So the Hoarders Synonymous mod, it lost all of the things that we'd had stored in there. All of them. I it was a completely different inventory system, so that was the big issue. Our larder was lost, so everything in there was lost as well. So it was kind of a bummer because we lost a ton of stuff that we were supposed to have, but what can you do? We also lost a bunch of doors and thank you so much, Leif, and a bunch of other items. So I essentially just bought everything that we needed and then sold a bunch of stuff that was in their inventory that had just been hanging around and didn't charge us any taxes for that because I thought, you know, at this point, we've lost so much stuff. I couldn't keep track of it and I didn't have the time to go back and check what our money was. So that's why we started today with 16,133 simoleons. And that's important because we're going to do taxes once we've harvested everything and once we have sold stuff from the shop. But I also got the new Little Bobub Yield Cookbook mod, which is a lot more complicated than it used to be. But that's not a bad thing. I actually think it's quite interesting. I'm in love with this oven. I don't know which of the other ovens I have that will actually work, but there's only one way to find out, and that's through trial and error. Oh, golly, golly. So yeah, we're just doing some chores around here to sort of get everything going. But also, I lost the little rocking horse. I mean, I have the rocking horse. It's just that it's not the right, like it's the colorful swatches, not the historical one, like the wooden one, because I couldn't find out if that had been updated or not. So I just thought better safe than sorry. As it is, there have been a few like glitches with the game since updating. I don't know what to make of them, you know? it's just going to be a trial and error thing. I actually think that the DX11 thing, like it does seem like it runs smoother, but it also seems like it's more taxing on the computer. So I don't know. I'll be looking into these things, but like I say, we just didn't have enough time this time. It's been kind of such a weird time with all of the updates, hasn't it? I feel like it's been really difficult to catch our breath with getting everything done because the mods have constantly needed to be updated, or we've constantly been offline or whatever. It's just been such an intense period of time for recording, hasn't it? But soon it'll quiet down, hopefully, very soon. Oh dear. This duck thing. Oh yeah, but the new... Yeah, sure. Both are equally powerful, buddy. The new foraging thing is so good because you get these baskets, and when you get the baskets, you get so much more stuff that you can forage. Like, we got chestnuts again, and some fruits and some vegetables. We got tea leaves. I don't even know what you can use tea leaves for, but we got them. We got dandelions, which also I don't know what we use those for. Can you unpack your basket, please, Luella? Oh yeah, Luella's eyes have changed. Like I said, I haven't seen that many responses from the most recent video, but I did think it was funny. Some people were like, oh, it's kind of nice that Luella and Knox are trying to autonomously fix their relationship. Like maybe they both do just want to have another child. So I think that's kind of sweet as well. If, you know, if that's what they want, I'm happy for them to do that. I'm not going to tell them that they can't be happy. Oh yeah, we've got to harvest these too. Buddy, I am so sorry. Luella, are you capable of making some food? Oh yeah, because now you can't cook it the same way that you used to. You have to do it a new way. Do we have anything? Oh yeah, no, because we don't have all of our meat that we'd just bought got taken away in the update. We can make a meat and tomato tart. Okay, fine. Luella, don't be mean to Kenrick. You're just upset. Kenrick, I'm sorry, buddy. Why don't you come and comfort your son? Well, I hoped that you would be able to comfort him. Yeah, soothe him. He's got all his skills and he'll be aging up this year, which is nice. Buddy, can you, like, do something for your sadness? I hate seeing them sad like this. I really do. The good news is that the nectars are still continuing to improve. Can you please... Ugh, it's full again. These Sims, they drive me crazy. Oh yeah, put a dandelion in there. I'm not against it. And then I'm sorry, Heidi, I need somebody to go ahead and do the laundry. Can you please polish that to perfection? This poor kid. Who else is free? Not you. You're busy. Harper, are you free? Yes, Harper. It's time to harvest all crops, please. All of them. Ooh, a potato. Great. That's a winning thing to find. Oh, geez, and geez, Louise. He wanted to join cooking. That's actually kind of nice of you, Knox. Go ahead and go collect the honey. That's your main job. And fill this in bottles, possibly. Nobody wants to buy our things? Oh my gosh, why are they always here these days? Like, Grania and Rhiannoch are always here. They're pretending to snoop on our mead, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. They did do a lot of work on repairing their relationship. Like, look at how high their friendship is now. They just don't have much romance. I'll let them do what they want to do. If they decide that they want to get back together, like, I'm obviously not going to stand in the way of them being happy. That's just not how I do things. If they want to be happy together, they can be happy together. And if they don't want to, that's also okay. Oh, he wants to stargaze with Gree? That's cute. Thank you, Mackenzie. Knox is thinking about having a baby. Interesting. Society doesn't require school for success at this point in time, but... Can you share your insecurities with your dad? Just go ahead and do that then, Paolo. 9 days for Edgar to become a teen and 2 days for Kenrick to become a child. It'll be so nice when Kenrick is a child. I think his eyes changed too. I did change some of the eyes around myself. Harper, my friend. Harper, you're not that tired. Yeah, we've got to do taxes. I'd forgotten already. Okay. I was like, no, we don't have to do taxes. I didn't realize that our garden yielded this much stuff. Holy guacamole. Okay. So Harper's got 4,142 simoleons worth of produce in his inventory. Harper, my friend, I'm going to send you out hunting because we do not have anything. So please, do you mind? And then Esmond has 5,157 simoleons worth of stuff in his inventory. Dang. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put all this stuff in here. Like, we need it. I'm not selling any of it. I'm not. We have run out of food so much lately. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I was going over there to close the live-in store so that I could calculate taxes, and Granya's like walking over towards our house. Oh my gosh, it makes me so scared. Would you mind reading your son to sleep? Heidi, I don't know what you're doing. You're just hanging around. Okay, so today from the shop, we only made 417 simoleons. Oh my goodness. Our harvestables came to 9,299 simoleons of taxable goods, though, which means that we owe taxes on about 9,716 simoleons worth of stuff. And since our taxes are 40%, we owe 3,886 simoleons, which means that we're going to be left over with 12,664 simoleons only, which is a pretty big change. I don't know what is happening here. Can you please repair this? Some things seem like they might not be working ideally, but some things seem like they're going just fine. I'm going to wait until Harper gets back from hunting, and then we'll head over to the next household that we're going to see. We're going to see a few households today. I think only 2 more, and then we'll probably close out with the Paynes so that we can talk about the historical stuff, because I kind of prefer talking about that stuff here with these guys anyways. Okie dokie, so here we are at the Greystrokes home, which their home was a complete wreck. I'll throw a picture up here if I took one. I think I did, because it was so funny when I loaded and I was like, what happened here? Theirs was another one that really got by the update and mods and everything, but we're here because, oh, hey, Henry. Henry does live around here, and so does his mistress, Ivor. As you might be able to tell from the fact that Jefferson II just came running out of the place, his wife is in fact in labor once again. Sheila is in labor. Also, it is Jefferson III's birthday to a toddler and Eydís's birthday to a teen, so it's going to be kind of an intense one. But baby Jeff III had to get fed, so he's being fed right now, and then I think we'll go ahead and put him down. And I put this bassinet in easily the very worst place that it could have possibly gone. So I'll wait for her to put baby down. Actually, I'm going to move it first in case he gets bumped. Yep, go ahead and put him down. Sheila, it's okay. And then we'll go ahead and have the baby. Dovile, you are looking great. Everyone loves you. You're fantastic. Everyone go ahead and get some food. You too, little kid. Oh my gosh, I hate when it drags you over like that. It's so scary. An important thing to know is that Heath could have gotten married, I think, a year or 2 ago. But man, I am so behind on marriages. Also, part of me is like, I don't want that many Sims getting married right before the plague. Okay, go Sheila, go. You can do this, Sheila. We're rooting for you. We are rooting for you, girly. Technically, this dress is really more Tudor style, but I think it looks really good on her. Oh, Sheila. Jefferson III has three. I'm sorry, three. Oh, dear. Oh, it's a boy. Dang. I meant to look and see what her parents' names were, her grandparents. I didn't think of any names for this kid. I don't know if it really is a medieval name. It just says it's from some list of names inspired by the medieval era, but I'm going to give this baby the name Angus. It's kind of like similar feeling to Baroness to me. And just like that, this household is full. It's a full household, you know? Oh, we don't need to chat with Jeff too. What we're going to do, Sheila, is we're going to go ahead and roll right away so that we can get everybody's rolls going along, you know? I know you've got to go to the bathroom, girlfriend. I'm so sorry. That was a look of pure panic. We've all been there before. For Sheila to survive this birth, she needs to avoid rolling the numbers 1 and 11. Nothing crazy, so that's too close, Sheila, but okay, she's fine. And baby Angus has to avoid rolling the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Dang, he didn't make it? Well, it is pretty sad about poor baby Angus, but at the same time, they do have 7 more baby dries left, and at least they have these 2 healthy babies. But let's go ahead and... Why don't you go to the bathroom? Heath, get out of the way! Heath, get out of the way! But let's get Jefferson III. Oh, Jeff 2, will you help Jeff 3 to blow out those candles? Thank you so much. With the new Yield cookbook mod, I don't know what all they need, so I just keep putting everything out, like the Homestead Helper and the original cookbook and the new cookbook. Okay, Jeff 3. You are a very blonde little baby, my friend. Happy birthday, Blondie. Baroness is excited. Up he goes. And he is independent. The best kind of baby. Sheila. Okay, thank goodness she didn't do anything crazy. If anybody makes a move on this cake, we're going to have a problem. Darby and Raven. Who are you guys? Maybe those are her relations. Actually, let's look. Yeah, her father's name is Darby. We don't know his grandparents. Oh, her mom's dad was Odrum? It's a strange name. Glenn is her brother. Garrett. Death by electrocution. And Raven is her half-sister. With him. We don't know. It's just a blank. Interesting. Okay. And then you, little girl. Everyone's been rooting for you from the beginning. Eydís. Don't worry about talking to Heath. He is a cute kid. You can't get there? Well, Heath just keeps standing in the way. Does anybody else notice that? He's like, Sheila's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And he's standing there. And Eydís is like, it's my birthday. Eydís, you are so cute already. And everyone's rooting for you because of your namesake. Original Eydís. Go, Eydís, go. You can do it. She's so cute. We have to remember that she likes having a bow in her hair. Jeff 2, do you mind adding some... Whoops, I missed it. Okay, so she's a horse lover and... Shregan? Doesn't work? A foodie? Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's weird. It used to fill up the whole space, didn't it? Am I wrong? Is that a me issue? Or is this new? Is this a new situation? Okay, and what aspiration? 6. Fortune? Fortune favors the bold. I'm gonna give you fabulously wealthy then, girlfriend. Okay, the makeup choices. Let's all just take a moment, because this is what she's elected to come out wearing. Oh gosh, these Sims. Okay, let's get them in cast and see if they're gonna make it. how their roles are gonna go. And then we'll head on out to the next household probably. For Jefferson III to survive his birthday to a toddler, he cannot roll the numbers 4, 8, 12, or 16. So, ooh, again too close, but he's fine. He's fine, thank goodness. 2 baby losses in one household in one go is just too much. And it's also Eydís's birthday to a teenager finally. I cannot wait to see what she looks like. She just cannot roll the number 7. That's it. Oh, she is fine. Thank gosh. Thank gosh. Okay. Will Eydís get married? She cannot roll the numbers 1 or 2. She will. And in terms of babies, the baby thing has gotten a little out of hand lately, so I'm actually gonna drop it down to a D10, and it's out of a D10 now for me, because I give them the 1 baby try if they get the number 1 anyway. So for Eydís, how many babies can she try for? 3? 3 is a fine number. I'm not against that. I think that's just fine. Wow, all in all, that was a pretty successful run of rolls. I mean, the baby, sadly, Angus didn't make it, but pretty much everyone else did. Oh no, who is this? But on that note, I'm going to leave the Greystrokes here and head over to the Brewers, the other Brewers. We do have to see both of them today because it's Arthur's birthday to a young adult, so I'll see you when we get over there and see what's been going on with those guys. So here we are at the Brewers, Arthur Brewers. Annie's another one who's up for marriage. She could have gotten married, but again, we aren't doing it. And Arthur's returned to find the home somewhat different to how he left it. He's somewhat concerned to return home and find all of this new and expensive stuff just kind of scattered around. Oh, that's right. I didn't check their home for the new version of the Ye Olde Cookbook mod. That's okay. Arthur's gonna go make himself a cake. I don't think we have one, but you know, oh, I thought so. I was worried he wouldn't be able to get over there. Oh yeah. Okay, before I start moving stuff, their home has had some changes to it, as you can tell. Like, we've got some stuff shoved in the kitchen where Arthur usually works while he's been away. We've got some chalices. We've got tons of jewelry and pots, nectar. We've got other boxes of stuff. And then upstairs, things have really gone out of hand. You know, there's just stuff everywhere. And Arthur is really concerned coming back and finding this. Like, this is stuff that they shouldn't have access to. They shouldn't have access to somebody's knight's clothing. They shouldn't have access to this much jewelry. These barrels all over the place. The sword that they've somehow gotten. I'm just going to start moving this stuff around so that he can actually get over here and make himself a cake. Like, Arthur is concerned. This is concerning. He probably shouldn't be returning back to find this kind of stuff, you know. He was away at war for what, like 3 years? And to return home... Will this work? Looks like it is so far. Because I haven't updated their ovens and stuff. So we'll see if it works, but I think that Arthur's somewhat concerned to return home and find all of this stuff, you know, like they shouldn't have been able to make that much money while he was gone. And this is a lot of stuff that they really shouldn't be able to purchase. Like, it's not really within the realm of their possibilities to be able to buy this kind of stuff, especially while he hasn't been here opening the stall, running their little business. Like, Adeline's not running that business, and neither is Annie. I don't think either of them have hardly any cooking. Annie has no cooking skills. Adeline has some baking skills, I guess, but like, not that great of baking skills. So this is a lot of stuff that they shouldn't have. And if you remember last time, they rolled to have their home be affected by the war rolls. And what it was that they ended up rolling, ironically, was economic disruption. And economic disruption, the like little bit that I had written about it originally was something like, oh, just putting it straight away. Putting it away straight away, I should say. Let's go ahead and plop that bad boy there because there's not really any space anywhere else to put it. Unfortunately. So what they'd rolled was actually to have economic disruption. And originally I'd said, oh, you know, that might be something like having raised taxes, or it might be that the king puts a levy on them because of the war. But I thought that in this case, it actually made more sense for the town authorities to be taxing these guys on all of these goods that they shouldn't really have, because Adeline and Annie have amassed all of this stuff, like this expensive stuff that they really shouldn't have access to. And the town authorities are suspicious about where they've gotten it from and are now keeping an eye on them to try and figure out what is going on. In addition, another local merchant family in the area is eyeballing them because they've had some things go missing, and they also are like, why do you guys have this much stuff? You really shouldn't. So the situation here is kind of a little bit on the edge, actually, because if the town authorities decide that they think that they're suspicious, that obviously would lead to them going on trial, being imprisoned. And if the other merchant family get really angry about it, who knows what they'll do, you know? Who knows what they'll do? Yeah, I get exceptions a lot of the time in the game for in-game stuff, like the graduation thing. The graduation thing is often one that goes wrong for me. Okay, so Arthur is good, but socially awkward, and I don't see him being erratic. I guess we could say that when he went to the war, like it was a tough one. I mean, all of them I'm sure were tough, but the fact that they talked about it so much with that one makes me nervous that it was like real bad. So maybe he just saw things that changed him and now he's a bit erratic to other people, to their perception, because he because of the things that he witnessed. Maybe that's what it is. Go ahead and put some candles on there, sing-songy. Another thing that's happy news, well, the only happy news, is that Adeline is in fact pregnant again, but they don't know that yet. They don't know that she's pregnant. Got a baby growing in there from Arthur getting back and being so excited to see his wifey and so excited to meet his little son. But for now, let's go ahead and see if Arthur is going to survive these rolls or not. Oh my gosh, he's so handsome. Okay, so for Arthur to survive his young adult age up, he cannot roll the numbers 6 or 14. That's it. So 15, he's fine. Oh, gosh. Good. Oh my gosh, good. Oh, buddy. Oh, he's talking to himself, but the chickens have come to listen. So, I mean, he's not that erratic. He might just be talking to the chickens, you know? Might just be talking to the chickens. But on that note, with the Brewers under very much suspicion, I'm going to leave these guys here and I'm going to head back to the main Paynes so that we can discuss the Black Death facts of this week, which are a bit more lighthearted. So I'll see you when we're talking about the Black Death. All right, we're back here. I'm actually just sending a bunch of them off foraging, like Heidi, Luella, and Edgar are going to go together. Harper and Esmond are going to go hunting. I'm giving them, I guess I should have said, I'm giving them some free hunting trips. Because Kenrick, you are going to be the chunkiest boy in the whole world if you keep it up. Because we lost everything, you know, so I'm just gonna let them go on a few extra hunting trips because we'd just gone hunting recently, and water with tears. I know, it's sad, like you lost your sister, man. I hear you. Maybe she'll get chosen to be the one to come back. I just kind of doubt it, you know. But yeah, I'm just gonna let them have a few extra ones because, to be perfectly honest, we'd just spent a ton of money buying a ton of supplies. We'd also, bought a bunch of meat and stuff. So I'm just doing it. I hope that's not a problem for anyone. It's happening anyways. So, okay. So in terms of the plague, before antibiotics were created, what are you up to, little kiddo? Ah, playing. So before antibiotics were created and before there was an understanding of germ theory, nobody knew where the plague was coming from, which is why there were so many ideas that are what we would consider to be pretty wild about what was causing it. For all intents and purposes, they were fighting an invisible enemy. They had no idea where it was coming from or what was doing it. They just knew that it was happening. By this point in England, people have heard rumors of entire cities left empty, of cities abandoned by people, of the dead being left in the streets. And they know that something is coming, but they don't know what they're supposed to do or how they're supposed to prepare for it. So nobody knows how to handle what's going on. Plague doctors had almost a 0% success rate, and when the plague came to an area, it decimated that area very, very quickly and moved on much faster than even modern outbreaks of the plague do. Pneumonic plague, which is one of the 3 forms of plague that are going around at this plague period time, we'll talk about more specifics about the different types of plague and what it looked like and what happened when we get to the modern understanding towards the end of this plague period. But the pneumonic plague in particular only had a 24-hour incubation period, which is really, really fast. Like, I'm sure you understand how fast that is. And each one person who got the plague could easily share it to 7 other people. For a more lighthearted approach today, we're going to talk about cures they thought might work because they're weird and fun. Okay, yeah, we'll go with the word fun. Some of them are pretty gross, but it's more fun than a lot of other things that we could talk about with the plague. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, the understanding of medicine they had at the time was based on something called humorial theory. We kind of touched on this last episode. But humorial theory was based on the ideas of Hippocrates and Socrates. And Socrates. I just went for it. Humorial theory was based on the ideas of Hippocrates and Galen, and pretty interestingly, this understanding of the world was completely unchallenged until 1543, and it wasn't even scientifically defeated until 1858. So humorial theory is going to cling on for a while, it's not a just now and then it's a goner kind of a thing. In this theory of the world, there were 4 humors, and the 4 humors were blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. I'm just going to sort out their inventories really quickly before we carry on. Grease here. We're going to invite her in even though she can't get past this fence, and I'm not going to unlock it because then the animals will make a run for it, but we'll talk to her for a second. So the 4 humors, according to humorial theory, were blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. It was believed that the humors affected your mood, as well as what diseases you had, as well as your overall health. And so the most important thing that you should do was you can congratulate her on her marriage, although she's been married for a long time. You guys can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Gree the Elder, dang. So the most important thing to do was to balance your humors through diet, as well as other things that were in your control, but mostly it was only the diet that was in your control. A lot of other things were out of your control. For example, the seasons were thought to impact your humors, and therefore you had to change what you ate or what you did based off of what the season was in order to stay in peak health. Your gender also was believed to impact your humors. It was believed that men started off hot and dry, which is why teenage boys were too hot and too wild and needed age to cool them off. By contrast, it was believed that women started off wet and cold, and they got colder and wetter with age. All humans were thought to get colder and wetter with age until, as they believed was the cause, they got too cold and wet for life, and then they would pass on from the world. That was one reason they believed people died, was becoming too wet and cold. Humorial theory actually has like quite a lot of complex facets to it. For example, they obviously didn't know about circulation because they had no understanding of the internal workings of the human body, but they knew that the things outside of you impacted your health, and so their explanation for it was basically that what you ate got cooked in your stomach, and then it would become humorial matter in your liver, which then was transmitted through the veins to the rest of your body. They thought that some of that matter filtered through the heart and mixed with external air, which then would become, quote, vital spirit and the source of what gave life. But we've talked about this briefly before. They also believed that there were 6 non-naturals, or agents outside of the body, that impacted your humors. One of which, the one you had control of, was obviously diet. The second, though, was environment and water. Basically, the idea was that you needed clean air and you needed fresh water that wasn't filthy. The third was that exercise could impact your humors. You should do exercise, but not do it too much. The fourth was the idea of repletion and expulsion. So that might mean that you need to take a laxative or to have an enema. You might need to sweat to get corrupt substances out, or you might need to have a bloodletting. Men specifically were suggested that they needed to go ahead for bloodlettings because they didn't have a natural way to do it. Whereas it was believed, are you yelling at your wifey? You will apologize, sir. Whoa, they just became good friends? What are you two up to? Just chatting over here with your kids? How did Kenrick? Oh, Kenrick's pretty good at walking. Okay. I don't know what's going on with these guys. Heidi, I'm sorry to do this to you because your husband was just a meanie, but do you mind making some food? It's just that everyone's going to get hungry. I know that they will. Oh, you can ask her to stargaze. I think that's what you wanted to do. Yeah. So it was thought that women obviously had a natural way of sort of getting out these sort of like substances that were trapped inside of you through menses. But because men didn't have that, it was suggested that they should have a bloodletting every 6 to 8 weeks. And of course, we've already talked about accidents of the soul, which were, stresses, angers, and anxieties, things that impacted your mood. Yes, they can be close, of course. And so those obviously were another one of the non-naturals. Where it gets really complex is when it comes to food, because food, obviously, like I've said multiple times, I feel like I've said diet so much on this one little speech. Look at these two. If only Dovile were here, then it would be all of them together. But food specifically was believed to have 4 categories: hot, wet, cold, and dry, similar to the humors. Seems simple, right? But it gets really complicated when you get into it because they also believe that there are different degrees to the food's quality, and it could have multiple qualities. For example, mustard was considered hot in the 4th degree and dry in the 4th degree. The 4th was strongest, while cinnamon was thought to be hot in the 2nd degree and dry in the 1st degree, which is why something like cinnamon was meant to be great for a headache or for a generally just a bad mood kind of a day. Oh, I have to get a picture of this without the spinning plumb bob. Look at them. Oh. This is where most of the wild ideas about cures for the plague came from, is about the ideas about the qualities of food. Although there are some other suggestions that are, well, we'll get to those. So the cures. I'm going to warn you, many of these are gross, and they go from least disgusting to most disgusting. So if at some point you think to yourself, this is too much, you're probably going to want to skip ahead. I've tried to put the timestamps in as is usual. Harper, you are such a good guy. We have to find Harper a wifey, I'm just stumped about that guy. Because Beatrice stumped me too, but she eventually did find her soulmate, so I half want to let Harper find his soulmate, but I also want him to get married and get out of the house. I appreciate him, but at some point we have to learn to stand on our own 2 feet. Paolo, do you want to go to the bathroom and then go and get something to eat? Okay, excellent. Isn't this oven so nice? It's beautiful. Okay, so while they're eating, at least it's them eating and not us, right? Fresh fruit was thought to carry the plague, so eating it raw was discouraged because fresh fruit, raw specifically. They would eat fruit, they just would demand that you should cook it first. They also believed that uncooked vegetables carried diseases too. And for a really gross fact, historians have found evidence of vendors, quote, cleaning vegetables with saliva before selling them, which persisted until the 18th century. So maybe they were onto something with this whole, not eating raw fruits and veg thing. Another suggested cure for the plague was apple mousse, which was a kind of medieval applesauce, give or take, and it was thought to be a cure because of the degrees of the ingredients used to make it. If you're interested in all that entails, there's a video in the description below called Tasting History with Max Miller, and he does a lot of really cool historical dishes and gives some details about what and why the reasoning is behind that. Another cure that was suggested was candied horseradish, and that's about where the good cures end, so buckle up or skip ahead for the ones that are coming next. One suggestion for how to specifically stop plague was to grab a handful of herbs and shove them up your nose, a la the Decameron that's on Netflix these days, or to just smell them to protect you from the miasma or bad air causing the plague. Another, for a reason I have not been able to identify, was to grab up some of your handy, readily available emeralds, crush them up, stir the crushed jewel into some water, and drink it. Another option, if you didn't have access to emeralds for the purpose of crushing to drink, was to use what was called the Vickery method. This is when a doctor would pluck the rear end of a chicken, particularly one part of its anatomy, then strap it to your armpits and groin to draw out the sickness. I assume that this is after the buboes have started growing, because the buboes that come with the plague would grow on your armpits and your groin and were incredibly painful. But I haven't seen anybody say specifically that that's what happened. Harper, are you the one tucking in Kenrick? Harper, this is why everyone loves you. Everyone loves you. Paolo, why don't you go to the bathroom first so that... But you didn't have to put your clothes there. What are you two up to? You know what, Heidi and Esmond? You know what you should do? Not that, but you can have a little woohoo. I'm not against it. Dang, how does the time fly so much? Yeah, you can go to bed. You're on your way to bed. Oh, hey, Gree. You could also hope to out-miasma the miasma by going to hang out in a sewer where the plague air, it was believed, would be too overwhelmed by the sewer air to be able to get you. So the idea was that the sewer air was more gross smelling, but nobody had really died immediately from going in the sewer, and so they should be safe down there. Next, most grossly, you could take a bath in vinegar and rosewater, or if you were extra worried or you wanted to be extra sure that you were protected from the plague, it was really preferred to take a bath in urine. And if you wanted to be extra safe during your bath of urine, you also needed to grab a glass of urine to drink, but the urine you drank could not be from yourself. So that's a choice. You could also choose to eat some treacle, but as with pretty much all of the cures, this isn't just any old treacle. No, this one has to be 10 years old and putrid. Why would this help, you ask yourself? That's the question I asked myself. Well, they thought that the plague would leave your body on its own because the treacle was so gross by the time it was 10 years old. And Max Miller, in his video, mentioned that it's possible that when it was left out for this long, the disease could have grown, some molds could have grown onto the treacle that would have been able to fight off the disease. But, I ask you, at what cost, At what cost? The most disgusting cure easily came from doctors who, as I think I've already established, had no way of knowing or understanding what they were meant to do. So a lot of their cures, unfortunately, actually actively spread the plague. And a common treatment they would provide was to cut open the buboes to allow the pus to leave the body, which they then, once they had cut it open, packed it full of mixtures of stuff. It could include moss or weeds or assorted plant roots. It could include resin and excrement, sometimes human. And even if it was human excrement, that couldn't be from yourself. Not only that, some doctors also recommended collecting the pus from the buboes to drink, which is a guaranteed way to make sure that you get plague. Like, if you drink that, you will get plague. It's not an if, it's a that will happen. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, as you may suspect, none of these cures worked. I hope that's pretty clear. Don't try them at home. And that's definitely a contributing factor to why this outbreak of plague was so devastating. But at least they tried something, I guess. I don't know. It's pretty outlandish. But for now, it's officially the end of this half year. I'm going to leave it here so that we can go straight into the plague rules. There were no real events or birthdays in the background. We saw all of them for this half year. So everybody cross your fingers and cross your toes and send us good luck, because this year's plague rules are intense. It's going to be a lot of Sims. It's going to be a lot of favorite Sims, so just buckle up, and I'll see you on the other side of the plague rolls. Oh, I'm nervous about this set of plague rolls. I'm really nervous. So also to clarify, in case you're wondering why I'm doing them in the order that I'm doing them, I've basically got, so this is the Sims world map, right? But in my head, these different neighborhoods are not all in the same city. Like this neighborhood here, well, this whole section here to me is London proper. And then this area over here is sort of like more on the outskirts of London, whereas this island represents Leicester, like we've talked about before. And like Glimmerbrook is kind of, well, obviously where obviously where Beatrice lives, that's considered France, but that's mostly because I couldn't get it to load in the world I initially wanted to put it in. Whereas these are kind of like the countryside between like Lancaster and Leicester. And Henford on Bagley was obviously Lancaster to us when we first started. So that's how I'm choosing which households we go to at different times, just in case you're interested or wanted to know. But that means I hope that you realize that some of our favorite families are up for their roles today. Now, I've decided after seeing some comments on the first video that the coin can get stuck. I've decided it's true that it makes me so nervous that perhaps it is stuck, that I have to change from a coin flip just so that I'm confident in the roles that are happening. You know what I mean? So I'm going to roll a d4 where basically odds mean that you live and evens mean that you contract the plague and don't make it. We're going to start off with James Greystroke and his wife. They have recently moved over here. So it's James and it's Edith. By the way, I guess I should say Edith is pregnant with his baby. So odds they live, evens they die. James first. Okay, James is gonna make it, and for Edith. Oh, Edith didn't make it. Next house that we're gonna be rolling for are the beloved Jacobsons. Kieran is currently just staying here with Alice as their house is getting prepared for them to move into. He wanted to spend just a bit more time with his family before moving on his own. So they're all here together, just in time for the plague to get here. So let's see. Kennard first. Kennard lives. Gree lives. Edwin lives. Kieran lives. I actually can't believe that. I actually glanced at several persons' rules just then and couldn't figure it out, so I was like, I'll just roll and see what happens. And Kieran's soulmate and wife, Alice. Oh. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought we were for sure losing some of the others. Okay, I can live with this. I can live with this. I'm sorry, Kieran. Next up is going to be the Brewers. And that's going to be Arthur's house. So it's Arthur, Adeline, Annie, and Sawyer. Arthur. Arthur's an odd. He lives. Adeline. Annie. No. Sawyer? No, that's bad. That's so bad. Because Adeline is Huxley's daughter and nobody's going to want to see her go. She and Annie both are just chaos. People like them. I like them at least. Sawyer didn't make it. Oh my gosh. That's not good. And the last household is Elizabeth Brewer's household. So for Elizabeth is indestructible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that anything's ever gonna get her. What about Aiken the third rather? Aiken survives. Marjorie? Oh dang. This one is like, maybe we should call this one the Culling of the Wives, because oh my goodness. What about Alexander? Of course. Oh my gosh, Gita. Oh my gosh, Gita. Conrad? Oh gosh. Catherine? Oh my gosh, no! The culling of the wives and the children, dang. That's every wife except for Gree. Every wife went down. I guess and Elizabeth, but her husband has already passed on. Every wife has gone down. All of the young children have gone down.